babedi nkomo but enye amamuo ni ayi ye babedi nkomo dia famra se bedwa ho because ye yare nyina ye parliament emra se bedwa no se gina brania enko man no kra mamuo bekoyie. That's the reason why ye koto about 2020 Ghana for bo sesi ye nya hang parliament. At the end of the day hang parliament na ntimi am why ye kwambia so omkra de am aye west eniamo e wo so mo de parliamentary proceedings ye no no more press conferences. It means they are not ready to do it. It's yes, every parliament ebeboayen. Na ene the amame nkomo we mani age ho ene say national interest movement tiedino national interest movement penyo de ba ye Dr. Abu Sakara wotie di na e kire se oman no ho dronti eno mani abre wo moye advocacy say Ghana for ebenya patriotism honhom wo yemu na yetimi ako ade age kuru no ne ye sha se be sha se free parliament nti wo mo di nsusuye bi aba nti ye pese wie ye ne kyesa nsusuye no mo de aba ne say ye de no mo so sa adaye no kwan be na Ghana e be fa so e be du sa abotaye no ho because yetimi duru ho anka be boa yen say parliament ene ma ye koso ho no to da bia abofo no ati ase ene nti wadaroma ansa na me introduce me guest e dia ma no metwa me hu tew na maba na from abofo nkrato e ban herbal Presam Cleanse Ventures and our more so yasene ma me from nkrato emra sisi aye ba ye nkomo no ye de be hyehyɛ so.
Higher Ban Herbal Center ya share ye kese a e won kran ha na ohwehwe ye kira kwan ye was Spintex Road 18 Junction and Kumasi wa Tunsu Agogo Government Hospital nachi na yeduma die kese pa ye di ye numpe ne nkase so bi na mu agu kotudwe wachi kase no wachi bremo ha was arthritis stroke but obi akweta ha wo ba bia wodi wadi be kire ye Ban Herbal Center ya share na ya share ya physical massage physiotherapy ya wash man mema de wo ha ba bia wo free be bia no ye betumi a show ama wo ho ato maame we say you stroke ne adam money e twere yare nko ade ya ana say kidney problem na hawa ba bia wo du be kire pe ye Ban Herbal Center ye betu ase ama na ye gunumede
Onua showtime me pa mo chawo mo ofie ye mama kwaba because enne ye dedicated show no nyina ama ye papa ye legend Daddy Lumba. So let me see if you can shake. Let me see. Onuoga fio. Onuoga. Come on, me tell you that Onuoga.
I go by the name D to the EMZY by ye.
It's no Debian Bizan was it's change na happen wa Accra no asham of mu hu ana.
Hey, what you say? Hey, asham the medemako. Medemako. That mindset no also ye free ho. Into mumu de mu pesa mo de asa. Ese sa. Loving you girl no girl need it. I do more than every day.
Showtime with Mac Brown. If you're the BR 7 p.m. any question the BR 6 p.m. Ewo Onua TV so. Numeko amaso ya saying. High Sense, Bell Pack, Heaven Saint, Holy Black Coil Multi-Purpose Insecticide Spray, Pepsodent Charcoal and Herbal, Geisha Black and Moringa Soap, Darling Lemon Drink, and Napa Foods. Numeko Omoboyen, Ene, OPK Airport and Power Bank. Obuase, Numina Wumu Ankasa, Sankofa Natural Spices, Antiama Sardine in Tomato Sauce, Tap Sand, Gynecare Syrup, My Life Insurance, Wallace, Medima for Herbal Clinic,
the GC brand, Betway.
Onua TV, ye dwene ho pa.
Memo akwaba Onua Pae Mu Ka jubadie so live Onua TV Onua 95.1 FM Iron Lady AMD Makacho say ewie me ne Dr. Abu Sakara na eba bedi nkomo oye founder the National Interest Movement dog akwaba
yeah
maybe watch it
Ah, me wa.
Bibi akoso fine.
Oh.
Asa Ghana no temu ku bisa.
Ampa but for all intents and purposes no what you can do, keep doing it in spite of the challenges.
Okay.
But then also we look at how change can come.
Okay.
And now you started a movement, no national interest movement. And you say change a bit me about preko.
Yeah.
But one step at a time. And also you share parliament. Because won't share your elections no won't say they be a twaba. But the result is the same.
It's the same.
Now, party kitty also on but they cannot even make any progress towards the presidency. So we said, okay, why don't we start looking at the parliament?
Okay.
Maybe we can form our own agenda, not a partisan agenda, a non-partisan agenda. What does Ghana need?
Okay.
What is blocking us? Can we remove those things from the road? So if we identify what is blocking us as a people and we remove it from the road, then we can pass.
Okay.
So we ask ourselves those honest questions in a retreat. And this was not accusing A or B, but we ourselves as Ghanaians, compared to the other people who have been making progress, what has stopped us?
Okay.
Those things, no, and we put them in a 7-point agenda in a table, which we call the 7-point agenda.
Okay.
Now, for lawyers are BEM, and then we made them constitutional changes, those which require constitutional changes. And we
all refer to 1992 constitution.
1992, you know, Professor Mills, no constitutional review, no.
Yeah.
Now, Nipa say, your friend say, Professor Atuba.
Yeah.
He was part of the committee. Even Professor Jampo, he was also part. Many people who were in CSOs, they were all part. And then they were saying, so what is happening? So I said, well, the only thing that can happen is we need to put some wheels under it and start a new initiative which can bring it to light. So that 7-point agenda, we made a petition and we sent it to Parliament. That petition said 2016.
Oh, 7 years down the line.
Oh yes, a long time ago. 2021.
Parliament responded.
Oh, yeah. Now later on, you have to say, majority speaker was starting on some initiative. No shit. I said, but this thing is supposed to go to speaker for both sides to come and look at it. But if it goes to majority, it means that now executive is doing it, which means that they'll do the things they want and leave the things they don't want.
Yeah, they don't want.
So we decided that no, we've got to become more active. So this is why we have formed this group of CSOs. All come together, let's work together. But in doing that, we have activism, we have advocacy, we can also march. But at the end of the day, if the people who need to change it are not changing it because they don't want to change it, the only thing you can do is go and ask for their seat so that you can go and sit in Parliament and change it. So this is what brought about the strategy of supporting non-partisan independent candidates
to go to Parliament
so that they form a caucus. And their only agenda there is reform. To reform the system so that we have a new way of working and have a new beginning where, apart from working more effectively, more independently, with more accountability, we also begin a program of pursuing economic development that will bring prosperity for all of us and not a few. Because that really is the major path and the vision that we had as a country when we started. How to bring prosperity for everyone, not just a few. It's easy to bring prosperity for a few people at the expense of the many, but it's very difficult to bring prosperity for everyone, even if it is not so much, but everybody prospers. So those are the two competing options. And for us, until we change the system, it's going to be very difficult to pursue a path of prosperity for all of us, because you yourselves have seen the result. One group comes in, one group goes out. What is happening in Ghana is we're developing a political elite at the expense of the majority of the people. So we've got to start somewhere. So we're calling for an alliance of independent parliamentary candidates. Identify self-made people. They're not after car, Land Cruiser, or school fees or all those things. They've done work already. Some of them have even retired. Are you with me? So when he goes and sits in parliament, you cannot tempt him with envelope. He knows he's gone there to say what he needs to say to change the system for the good of all of us.
Okay, dog, initiative idea, Obeka Senka, any bad idea at all. More members.
Oh, your members will pray. But
our members now are ready, say they will go for the seats.
Okay. And just seats okay. We share an election from 1992 up till now. You will see that there's some seats where they always vote one way, either NDC or MPP, parliamentary or presidential.
Okay.
They don't change. Those ones, leave them alone. Yeah. Then there are some where they change parliamentary, but they don't change presidential. There are others, they change presidential more than they change parliamentary. And there are some which are just changing all the time. So we want the ones which are changing parliamentary, are you with me? And also presidential, but more parliamentary, because that is our target. So then you look at all those constituencies, where they are, the size of the population, etc., because the operation is going to require resources. So some places, because of where they are, it doesn't require so much resources, and the population is not so big. There are others where the population is big, but also the people are very rebellious. They are tired. They want to change. So there you will find that people will respond to you better. So we've done a good screening, and now the next thing is to identify the people who will contest the seats.
And identify those constituencies. How many are they?
Oh, on way I said 25.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
With 25 seats, like a more dear and I would say, and I would jitum say, out of the 25, anya she ebi emu 5 emu 10 dear, a solid say a year ya why you bet me aje.
And then dear every free moon check. A young every gun of one check. Because where the approach we are taking, we're not attempting to buy the seats.
Okay.
You know what happens at seats.
Yeah, exactly.
We are attempting to win the seat with your support. So if we explain the mission, look, don't send your members of parliament in a palanquin belonging to the party into parliament, because then they're going to be whipped by the chief whip to vote for whatever their party and their leader wants. Send them with your own wheelbarrow into parliament with your votes. Let them sit on that chair as your community representative, not an MP for a party, but an MP for the community. This is the change that we want to explain to people for them to begin to understand. Yes, all MPs go to parliament from a constituency. The question is the agenda that they are pursuing. Is it a partisan party agenda, or is it a community agenda based on what their people in the community want? That is where the democracy has now to grow to. We cannot have this shallow democracy which has just grown to this level. Yes, it's a democracy of sorts, but where is the response to the community? Is it responsive? If it was responsive, we can all get up and shout, oh, this person is not doing well, sack him, and the person hasn't gone. Oh, we don't want this thing, and it's still the same. That's not a responsive democracy. The democracies that we're copying, if enough people shout about something, something happens immediately.
No.
You see? So if you have a real democracy, then there must be a response. It's not a case that somehow it is insulated from responding And as long as the party group doesn't want it to change, the people can make as much noise as possible and nothing happens. So what we're trying to do is find another way where we can grow the democracy, evolve the democracy. The alternative is that we leave the thing shut. There's no response. Leave it like that. And it becomes like a pressure cooker in the kitchen. It's whistling, nobody is taking any notice. When you come back, you find the soup on the roof.
Interesting.
And we don't want that because we can see it happening all around.
Exactly. Yeah. My catch was said, "Nam come one day. Obeti sounds so bad. Dr. Busakara ni Ogusu and Nidim come on. But dog, a dear na koso of parliament. Ma won say a dear nya like a man or minor ya suffer do.
You see. The main issue is that Parliament is supposed to be a check on the executive.
Exactly.
It also is supposed to oversee the budgets and the activities of the executive so that there's a sense of accountability.
Yeah.
But when you have a Parliament within which you can compromise some of the people by bringing them into the executive, co-opting them into the executive, either as ministers, deputy ministers, or CEOs of state enterprises or board members of this and that. Then, by the end of the day, who is the Parliament and who is the executive? Because if I am part of the executive on an issue which is in Parliament and we've discussed it at the executive, when I go to Parliament, I have only two choices.
Yeah.
Either I support my executive or betray them, or I support my Parliament and betray them, if there's a difference between what Parliament wants and what the executive wants. So that is is institutionalized system of compromise, which it could have worked, but because of the way we have managed it and compromised it, it has not worked the way it should work. So now, these are some of the amendments that we have recommended in the 7-point agenda.
Okay.
That let's not have ministers
from Parliament
at all. Not some, not at all. If you go to Parliament, you stay there and be a legislature. Yes. Now, you, those who are in the executive, you stay out. Set your program. Bring it to Parliament, let them have oversight over it.
Okay.
That is one thing that we can do, which will make things better. Because if I know I like meat and I'm in the kitchen, how can I be in the kitchen without eating part of the meat?
I'll taste it.
I'll have to taste it. So just let me do the sweeping in the yard, are you with me? And let somebody do the cooking.
No temptation. When I'm sorry to say, I thought the Okrah, I to a momone home. Send the other day, I'm one money do a bechiari. Okay, see. Okay. At the end, I see what Parliament here. Wunya and currency. MPs na kasadia na akoso over the years. Niema ben no my ya. Wunya and currency.
And there are some dorsal. First of all, Ube who say this issue of judgment debts and year one administration on kwa debia onuma change government now on one contracts not judgment debt abem.
Yeah.
Because for sure, if you take it from somebody, he's going to take it to court.
Exactly.
But if you look at the incidences of judgment debt, about say one party or the other, so why have we kept on having those judgment debts all this time? It means that the manifestos that the parties use, are you with me?
Yeah.
Instead of a plan of action that Parliament can supervise, is the problem. Because as soon as he comes with manifesto, changes everything, and then automatically the judgment debt comes. So that thing happening in Parliament, they should put a check on it. Parliament should have by now demanded that, look, let's have a national development plan. so that we know that we are all traveling from Kumasi to Bolga, and then we'll be stopping at Sawam, Accra to Bolga, we're stopping at Sawam, Kumasi, Techiman, wherever. And we know that for this amount of fuel, we should make this amount of progress.
Yeah.
And we assess to see whether we have made that progress or not. And if there's a different route that we can take, on the same journey to make it more efficient, then we discuss it, agree, and we do it. But it's not that once you get into the car, you can change the destination. I'm not going to Bolga again. In fact, I'm going to, Cape Coast to see my friend there. Are you with me? that kind of wild changes.
Yeah.
It's not good for the system. And I think that Parliament itself needs to put its foot down and say, if we are to do our job properly, after all, we are supposed to approve and mark you, then we need a common exam. So let's have a national development plan. Within that national development plan, you can, give us your management plan of how you are going to achieve those objectives. What you see? It's not that you will change the objective. You will give us a different management plan of how you're going to achieve those same objectives. Then Parliament will be robust because both sides will be looking at the same thing and they will be making judgments, objective judgments. So if we have this, it will be a big help. The other issue is partisanship. You see, the democratic system is not designed for your party's interest to be more than the nation's interest. This is why we called the national interest movement. In other words, let's put the nation's interest above partisan interest. So if you go there to represent your constituency and there's an issue and your party is taking it in one direction, the other group are taking it in another direction, there will come a limit. If you're really judging it by the national interest, there will come a limit where you say, no, we have some differences, but for the sake of the national interest, it should be done this way. But if you say, no way, unless you do it my party way, we are not going to agree. And our numbers are more than yours, so we're doing it, we've passed it, we're moving. They say the minority can have their say, we'll have our way. So that have their say and have our way, it goes both sides. And that is basically the point where not only can we do the wrong things more and more, but also the opposition can get frustrated. They say, well, we're only going to talk. After all, they're going to have it anyway. Let's finish quickly and move on to something else. So now the job of checking the system is not being done. So these are the things that we have to look at because they are part of the system. And the system is not cast in stone. We can change it. And we should change it. And the parliamentarians themselves should advocate for that. That is why we were surprised that when we submitted this petition, they themselves did not jump and say, yes, we need it. Let's do it. You see? So now I think this partisanship has gone too far now. The game in town is I have won. Let me do what I want to do. When I finish and you also win, you also do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, what does the nation need? This is what the question we should be asking all of us Ghanaians. What does the nation need? It's not a question of Ama wanting to become president or Kwesi wanting to go to parliament. What does the nation need? How effectively can we pursue it? And we all work together to pursue it. So you hear me say some consensus government. Wow. This adversarial, democracy, where, I am against you, you're against me. It works when the institutions are strong and the national objective is clear and everybody is working towards it. In the UK, it can work. You all talk. At the end of the day, bring the thing, Queen will sign or not sign. If it's not in the interest of the nation, they won't sign. You see? But here, because of the weakness of the system and the interpretation of the democracy, mafa. Are you with me? You see? Then it can go out of gear. And this is what has been happening. This is what has slowed our advancement as a nation. So we are not saying that throw the democracy away, no. But let us also stop and look inside it and know our own characters and how we behave and say, look, it's enough, let's go this way. And together we build consensus. We may still have our differences, but let's agree that this is the plan. We have consensus around the plan. Now we can have differences in how we achieve it. And this is the point of the Constitution which people have refused to accept. Oh, no. Why do we need a national development plan? That means when I come, I can't do what I want. Are you with me?
Yeah.
But it's not about what you want.
What the nation
It's about
wants.
what the nation needs. You see? So that is the agenda, say. If we go back and we make some of these reforms, we can rescue the system. We can improve the system. But we cannot rely on the partisan approach to improve it because it is already blinded, are you with me, by the partisan interest. So that is why we're saying, look, let's try and get some independent parliamentarians there who will focus on the agenda. Some self-made people who can afford to dedicate the rest of their life to focus on this agenda, because that is what the road opened to us. And it is important we do this and not pursue ambitions of being president or all those things which may not work, but actually try to get that critical mass that will act as the first check. Because you have seen for yourself this last day, Parliament, even people sick in bed were brought to vote. One vote can be so important. So if we manage to get 5, 10 people who are strong people, you can see what will happen. People won't have it easy. Or even you have forgotten how Yakubu, she alone. And that was even under Rawlings. Are you with me? So truth is very powerful. Truth is very powerful. Even if you're one and you're standing on the truth, it will prevail. Provided you're prepared to defend it. So if we can get some self-made people now, and we go and beg them. This is not a matter of people rushing. We have to go and beg them. Are you with me? Because they're now comfortable. They want peace in their lives. And, you know, because one, they are the people with the resources. Two, they're the people where if they're in the community, they respect them enough. So we have to go to some of the chiefs, go to the trade unions, go to people like that, get them, all of us, let's come together. What we're trying to do is save our democracy by getting a few people who will make it more responsive and give it a chance to come out of this doldrums, this quagmire, where we are pulling and pulling and we are not making any headway.
And now come on, a very interesting part. When you say Rashebe Jana e wo hono si ebedi yio si ye ni yio e beti maka say 80% in a parliament so because ye kobo bosia na se bosia no it doesn't make sense. Parliament be ka beti maka say enko wonyi ntum on makwan ma finance minister no enko nkoje but parliament no omo na tena so no omo approve budget omo na approve. And common yedi ni nyina say was strong parliament although say executive no power bank executive no bebre and ono so be make sure say you will come align with the MPs in the can but because say MPs no NDC aban na was or majority MPP na was or majority nti anytime bia no those who say I should say I niama I those who say should say no but no I can't. But dog, problem at what Ghana no is so power. How do you intend doing this?
Well, you know, no matter
because to change the mindset of a Ghanaian, what to Obama MPP, to Obama NDC, to change some mindset, no say, Jai Sabana what to number 2 independent candidates.
Well, Ampa, it's a very big challenge. And any problem, no matter how big it is, you have to chip at it a bit at a time. Rome was not built in one day. If you don't chip at it, it won't reduce. And if you are lost, and you don't know you are lost, you will never find your way. But if you're lost, and you accept that you're lost, now let us find a way and a direction home, and you eventually pick the path. It may be getting dark, but eventually you reach home.
You reach home.
So this is where our democracy is now. We've got lost in the extremism of partisanship. We've got lost in the dominance of power. We've got lost on the accoutrements of governance, procurements. Now we have to get back into that system and start looking at how we build accountability right from communities going into parliament. Because that is the only way. And now one notices the same institutions now, Nkrofo starting as a student leader now or co-parliament, they say, if you continue in that system, by the time you reach the top, you have the same brain. And you see, so it may be that you're young, but you have the same brain because you've been brought up in that system. So what we're saying is, let's try to begin by another system. Slowly building a system of non-partisan independent candidates who will champion the cause for reform. It may reach a point, you see that even the two sides will come and join. But if we don't start, then you just carry on the way we are. And we all know where carrying on the way we are can lead us. We don't want that. So it is important that we make a start. And it is for all Ghanaians. And yes, it's for all Ghanaians to take an active interest and start looking at independent candidature as a way to get a more responsive government. One which, because they are taking your vote without a party being the middleman, are you with me? You can talk directly to them and ask them to do what you want them to do. And if we want you to bring about reforms in Parliament, when you go there, start doing that, as well as doing all the normal things you do. Because when you do some of those reforms, it will make it easier to achieve bigger results. It's like taking a small bucket to a well, and you keep going with this small bucket and it is also leaking. But you don't want to change it because it's your favorite bucket. But if we fix the bucket and give you a slightly bigger bucket, when you go and come, you see that the pot will be filling quicker in the house. So this is basically what we're trying to say. The system has developed some leaks and holes in it. So let's fix it. And we can do that. Nobody brought this thing and put it on our heads and said, don't change it. We ourselves adopted the system of democracy. And we adopted the hybrid between the American system and the British system. Well, for all intents and purposes, 30 years now, we have found the shortcomings and the good parts. It's not all bad, but where we have got to, we could have been so far. Are you with me? And now we need to be honest with ourselves. I mean, you look at a country like Ghana, look at the human resources that we have, look at all the natural resources that we have, and then our total GDP is around 86 billion. Somebody has that money in his pocket in America. All of us. And that person has nothing. He only has a business idea. And yet we have the gold, we have the diamonds, we have the bauxite, we have the lithium. All of these. You have land, oil, water, land, sunlight, plenty, forests. And then you go and compare yourselves to some small country like Malaysia, which is just like the coast from Accra to Winneba. You see? So those are the things which, it doesn't make any sense. We have gold. We are the second largest exporter of gold in this country. Why should our currency be weak? It's very simple. Pass the law. Collect all the gold. We are not saying that we're collecting your gold. No, but go and put it in central bank. Anybody who wants to buy gold, bring the money to Ghana, buy CDs and go and take the gold and take it. Your currency will be strong. Why do you have to allow people to be taking it individually? Today, we are talking about gold. This is today. But ancient Mali, they used gold to become the richest country in the whole world. If you Google who's the richest man in the world, it will always go to Mansa Musa. Why was he the richest person? Because nobody could own gold like that. Only he could own gold. You can find the gold, but bring it to me. I will give you the equivalent.
Yeah.
And in those days, even they used to give salt for gold.
Yeah.
We didn't know we could get salt from the sea. You know? So he was controlling. If at that time, all those hundreds of years ago, somebody who didn't go to Harvard, he didn't go to Oxford, he has figured out that this is how I can control the wealth and have a strong economy and be the richest in the world. He could do that just with the gold that was there. We are now mining more gold than he ever mined.
Exactly.
And yet our currency is weak. Why? Why? So some of these things, we need fundamental changes. It's not a question of, twist it here, let interest rate go down small. Oh, okay, then let's look at inflation. Let's twist that one small. No, we need to make some fundamental changes and say, no, this is how we are now going to structure the economy. And this is how it's now going to work. It will be painful initially, but as you make progress, the amount of progress you make will be in quantum leaps. And this is what people want to hear today. We're not after Ama coming or Kojo coming to say, oh, I'm better than that one. This one was more corrupt than me. No, that's business as usual.
Serious.
What we want is somebody to say, no, we know that we are stuck.
Competing on one more corrupt.
Yes, we know that we are stuck. Now we have to find a fundamental solution. Let's all come together and see how we can reach our decisions by consensus and pursue them together. If we don't do that, we're not going anywhere. As for this game, it's like Malogo. It will keep going.
Interesting. Was it game na ese Palogo no? Mame Kaiwo say Presam Clients Ventures. Presam Clients Ventures and so masene Onua Pae Mu Ka dwumadi so maka cho say ba no ensa no nyuma dia headquarters ne ba akopɛ Presam and it's nyame adoma Saturday di animimi akasa me se me ba ho wati ase amihia o ewo Ashaman Government School ho no mo a ye ba be kire perfume ye ni a kire bridal fund fascinator beading na afa ya kire biodigester me so mema no mutie mi amobesua bi ese economy no baabi yakeka kono wa ampa bibi ado won sa be ya wotena wo twa aban a enu so that's it enti brayen kosua biodigester no obi asi ni fia o se me pe flash ya na ahye ya no ne ekosua no enu achi ebesua paint here the painted down here o eya me dru ameto me because companies akese a foreign companies a wo mo import anaso mo de paint ba ha me etoi paint here bia o branding ene de wo nam na say o mo produce paint bia ehu ama paint here ye kwakire we ye adu abia enti brabesua wo so brand home made in Ghana. What you say? Now, yes, I say you patronize you benye scap. You bet your drinks, you bet your brown sugar, you bet your bar soap, afterwash, parazone, liquid soap, floor cleaner, washing powder, antiseptic, and a face shower gel. Nina, you bet your which you 550 pay. And you might be able to make new sales and residence in Pool 550 Ghana cedis. We are presum say, sir, by you know, we see Kana Wabetiano, and Kokano. Or better my raw materials and I say near my products I would be starting perfume ni perfume nunkwa is a whole business of itself. Ubeko bishop on perfume nkwa nti so woni perfume ya and one so ne say ubetimi akwa yes business no nti Presam si obi obema on startup case I would be akwa perfume ye na say now I'm a pen drive I'm a handout I'm a certificate ubetimi e de akwa wadwuma say number ni 0559 209 309 0559 209 309 and 0246 789 695 0246 789 695 Shannon so presam enjimomo nyame ya adom na Saturday di enim ye 9 September we share ye e wa Shama Government School hono ma uti of 550 no we training ground so na ye say eno ano no so akwa kwasua wo wadwuma mesro ye ngimomo obi ka cho se me free presam send momo mami a oboa me ka kiro no wada ho so enti ni nyina na so be hia yen e wo Ashama Government School hono ma na yetimi edisa training no amount ba maka cho say se eye wo no mpem na tutu nko ade a eye ban herbal center e na me di wadru maka cho say ban herbal hospital ho say obebo obu ho abakonya accidents ni do mpem ya ne ya abu africhi abonfo na yesi africhi obu ho na say ne no mpem twist ya ye ka na say wo do mpem africhi wo de be ko ban herbal hospital no watimi a asiese ni kamade ama eye haba na ode to so no ma chekere ne fine obesa sorry agina wona so yenkotwa wona emfa edade bia ankohyem mesre wa obi wo ho no ma arthritis ha no ana so obi wo ho a wo do mpem enu a emui emfrichi but emu ya wo ya problem na ho no wunim fa ko ban herbal hospital obede haba beto so no ai ne kama stroke de maka cho say account wo say ya asemu a wanwe ya wabusu akora timi pa aba stroke ye ya rebone fa ko ban ba hospital no sa ya de obi a wadwene mu kan kakra mesro bra obi a twere wo so ana say stomach ulcer de me kan na me de me na pempem from because me minim de ban ba hospital timi ye stomach ulcer de tatashe o de ba ye to ase no wadidi no wa ye free yare ye kom de wasem udidi asem de plan be no Mr. Wafabra. Mr. Say, Operson here, Kasa, number 0244 083 482 and 0244 988 004. The national so say, buy about hospital, so only branch or Kaswa. Mama kwasha kaswa na ye ban ye ban no mesro obi ka cho say of free buy about hospital or kaswa obwa tie branches no ye tupe e Kumase Uju atonso agogo hospital na chi hwa na ba heba hospital wo anka ha na Sprinters Road 18 Junction Tema Community 16 Lashibi Obeba West Club ekwo na abenya ba heba kaso bi anim intimesro mo sha ne so enfama yen eye ba o ba wo mo na sponsor me wo eye Pae Mu Ka dwumadie so awiei me ne Dr. Abu Sakara ene eguso a ye di enkomo interestingly okay press release wa mo de ba ya mehwehwe mu na omukotu assembly wom pese me bisa dog mo ka se ade ba ko ha mo pa ne se enchaye na majority MPs ni because so kanoforiata wanya ade na na do mpam no ya hu de kosi ye se kanoforiata ni ya se nkwaje IMF deal ni wi anko be konso wada so te ho e che se deal no obaji awie diska na wie ama yato abakura awie no da so te ho MPP breaki 8 obekoso atena ho enti ni aya no ade na mukotu sa asem no
e chere say what parliamentarians want kasano onumo principles no onumo gina so no ansana wohwehwe asemnuma you have to understand okay what is going on, what do we want to see, and then you come to a point where you say no, this has gone too far. Are you with me? So we are taking this decision. So for us the issue was, if you have taken the decision and there's so many of you, why have you suddenly gone quiet?
With this one they quoted their constituents.
Yes. So this is what we're talking about, Parliament.
Okay.
If parliamentarians stand on point of principle to say no, then they should stand on that principle to the end.
Okay.
Because that
Were you disappointed?
Oh, I was a bit disappointed. Not because I wanted to see him removed, but I wanted to see Parliament work.
Okay.
Where, from their own side, they decide that no, we need a change. Not because of anything other than to say that, look, give opportunity to somebody else to see if they can repair the system. It's not you who drove us into the ditch who's going to drive us out. Let somebody else drive us out. So that was what I thought they were pushing for.
Okay.
Whether it will work or not is another matter, but at least they came to a point where they said enough is enough, let's see the change. And that is the kind of stance that people want to see from Parliament, that they can even guide their own executive and stand firm so that their executive will change their mind. Not that you decide it and then when you go there, then you come back and we don't see anything again. Let's take another example. You have all seen this issue about proper family values. How one person has just stood his ground. People talked. He didn't mind them. He kept on.
Yeah.
America talked. He didn't mind them. He kept on. UK talked. He didn't mind them. He kept on. That is what we want to see. That somebody has that conviction on point of principle that no, this one there, even if you sack me from here, you sack me from here, but I'm not giving up. Then that kind of attitude is what Parliament needs for it to begin to work effectively. Because if I know that that is the atmosphere there, and Kasa, before I take something there, I'll think twice. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And when something is going on and I see that the opinions have gathered, then I'll consult and change route. But not that whatever I say is what is going to happen. You know? So I think that it is very important that that aspect of Parliament, you know, you who say a huge man, because that is what gives you confidence and trust in your member of Parliament. He may be wrong, but he has stood his ground on your behalf.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yes. And the times when he's right, it works out for you. Now, he could become a casualty of the process, but that is the risk he takes. You know, we all are taking risks because sometimes, you know, you begin to sound like a John the Baptist in the wilderness because you're talking and eating locust and honey. Are you? So you're wondering when will be the day they will take my head off.
I don't know what's that say, Jane. I don't know for being a money penny.
Well, yes, it is important that it's based on principle.
Okay.
You can change your mind. If you change your mind on principle, there's not a problem. Yeah, but if you are just changing your mind depending on what you look around and then you change your mind, then that is not the kind of principle representation that we want.
Okay.
So what we are saying is that we would like to see people taking stance on principle so that it doesn't matter whether your party is for it or is against it. Once you've stood on the principle, you stay on it to the end.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, with this advocacy, to bring people on board, somebody standing for some of the constituencies and what me identify, say a possible some bet me add those seats up for Parliament. Processes not to say I was any partner joining national interest movement answer. And now crime no be first one no so bet me abeka so okay. Constituency we are more identify e kwa na mete e manyini wo ho me gidi say me kwa met me awini. Process not to say.
Okay. First no it's important that they subscribe or they accept the reform agenda.
Okay.
Because reform agenda is what binds us all together.
Okay.
You don't have to be part of the national interest movement.
Okay.
But you should accept the reform agenda so that we know that you are going to campaign on the basis of the reform agenda.
Okay.
And when you go to Parliament, you're going to stand on the basis of the reform agenda. And yeah. So that is what binds us together. Now, it's not only the reform agenda, because there are also other pressing issues in the constituencies which will form part of that campaign. But they should know that if they send you there, on top of those issues, you are going to have a very big focus on pressing for reforms. This business of people marching and then after the march, everything goes quiet. We want to be hearing it every day in Parliament. I don't have to be marching on the streets. If I can speak in Parliament and people will hear it every day. And if we are able to get that caucus of people, no matter the number, you know, these days, because of this system of monetizing the democracy, everybody has money now. So you're not going to get landslide majority again. Are you with me?
Yeah.
The majorities are going to continue to be tight. So if we are able to get these seats, then even 5 people can control the Parliament. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. If there are 10, it's even better, provided you are all bound by the reform agenda and you stand on it and you don't shift. That is why we're saying that we need to begin to make the reforms so that we remove the temptations out of the way. So those people, they have to sign something with the national interest movement to say that, look, if I go to parliament and they give me ministerial position, I won't take.
Okay.
If I'm appointed to board of this, I won't take. I'll just stick to parliament. So, because once you are taking those things, then it's difficult for you to keep the agenda.
Yeah.
And also, you are going to be arguing that parliamentarians should not be members of the executive. So how can you argue that when you yourself are?
We are part of them. It's not possible.
You see? So this is what I'm saying, that we should start from somewhere.
Okay.
Now, it sounds that, oh, this is a very utopic, idealistic thing. But the truth of the matter is, what is the alternative? If we cannot begin to change our democracy from inside, what is the alternative? To leave it to just continue as it is? And we all know the end result of that. So let us begin to work within the system to get the changes that we want. And let the young people rally round that these are our parliamentarians. They're going to argue for the changes that we need to give this country a brighter future. On top of that, we'll send search teams.
Okay.
So we ourselves will go down to the constituencies, visit the chiefs, visit the opinion leaders, church leaders, etc., and identify the people. Then we will encourage them to stand. And we will try and mobilize resources to support them. As we are sitting here now, if we both have managed to send one person to parliament, we are also now bosses of that person.
Exactly.
You and me. So let him do what we want him to do.
Yeah.
As opposed to handing him over to a party, then we don't see anything again. You understand? So that's what we want to begin to encourage.
Okay.
And we believe that once this thing starts, it will pick up momentum. Once you get the first 2, 3, 4, 5, it will pick up momentum. Because, frankly speaking, everybody knows the end result of what is happening now. You know? So we want to change that course. We want to make sure that we start another system where some people have hope that something better can come out. Because when you lose hope, then you lose everything.
Okay.
You know?
Dog, you constitution now. Mo priority say yetimi sesa na anke say your problem ne say why le be di animu ami asesa constitution no. President no tia konwa no so no enye ready so pese oboa me sesa constitution because meaning say Constitutional Review Commission call round tena say they made some amendments and komunya ya and kayebetimi I implement it. At the end of the day it is so obi so cry sign the commission call court say commission no cry new right say or tamper with constitution e da ho no say yenya den because you defa benkuma hey you defa hey president no because article 71 emra na atwa mo ho ahia no as a bind wo protect wo in so many ways. They are not ready to assist to say about reforms. Fine.
Okay, let's assess what we have done so far.
Okay.
We have participated in the constitutional review. We have made recommendations. They've put it down. We have marched. Are you with me? Around Accra, say we would change the constitution, It has now fizzled out. Now we are saying that, look, let us begin a movement that will send people to parliament. And you are going there to change the constitution.
Oh, okay.
Are you with me?
Okay.
So we're no longer relying on somebody's goodwill to say, oh, today I feel like changing the constitution, because we know it won't go far.
Yeah.
We are going to keep that consultation going, but let us begin to support people who will go to parliament and speak for us there. Because when nobody is speaking about that in parliament, you are nowhere near to changing it. If nobody has tabled any motion for amendment of anything, you can make all the noise you want outside. It's not going anywhere. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yes. So it is now being the job of the executive to push those things they want to change. And we've seen that doesn't take us far. So let's go around the other way. Let's try and get independent candidates to push the things and bring them into parliament. Now, if they get into parliament and there's a critical mass of them, and you are bringing business to parliament, and you are not talking about this reform, we say, hey, and then the reform that we want, if we are not also getting part of it, then this business is also not
going through.
So let's see. Compromise. Are you with me?
Yeah.
But if you don't have a knife, how do you slaughter a chicken?
Okay.
Are you going to just black the feathers?
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what we're trying to get Ghanaians to understand, that the solution is in your hands, but you have to change your mind and find the people that will go and stand firm for you, because that is the system we have designed. There's no other system. The other system is for me to say, oh, you know, okay, I'm the best person in the whole world. Me, I'm an angel. If I go there, I'll do all the things you want. That one too we have seen. So let's rely on the system. Let's rely on our demand on the people, our support for the people, to demand some accountability from them. This is the only way left for us if we are going to use legitimate democratic means. Unless other means, which you know, that one, you cannot guarantee where it will end.
It will end.
And in any case, you are going to lose. Are you with me?
Yeah.
All the experience of the 32, 33 years of this republic. This is a very rich resource. In as much as we are not satisfied with where we have reached, in as much as living conditions are harsh, the fact of the matter is, having 33 years of this trial in your bag is a tool that you can now use for the future. If you throw it away, then you don't have that tool. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So we have to use it, and we have to encourage all Ghanaians to realize that this is our resource. We have tried. Now let's try something different. Yes. But if you keep doing the same thing, how can you expect
we'll get the same
results? You see, so we need to begin to educate our people, and this is where I think that you, the media, you are very, very important in this task. Because me sitting here alone, how far can I reach? Even if I have Land Cruiser, how far can I touch? But if the media begins to adopt a certain language that intends to penetrate the minds of people and tell them the truth as it is, that will begin the basis of the change.
Okay.
And by the same token, what it means that when people come into leadership, they will come with realistic options, not fantastic options which won't materialize, because that is part of what we're missing in Ghana now. Because we are relying on this pluralism, popularism, to get the votes. We have to tell so many sweet things, but finally they're not based on the reality. The fundamentals will catch up with you. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So it is better to tell people that, look, me, I can't promise you heaven, but as for Nsawam, we can reach there.
We can reach there.
And this is what we need to do: A, B, C, D, E. And when we get to Nsawam, we'll talk about going to Kumasi. Are you with me?
Yeah, we'll get to
but
Kumasi.
for the time being, everybody gather around, let's go to Nsawam. 4 years, you get to Nsawam. The next 4 years, you get to Kumasi. The next 4 years, you get to Tamale. The next 4 years, you get to Bolga. Haven't you crossed the border?
You cross.
But if we keep changing direction every 4 years, oh, we're no longer going to Nsawam, now we're going to Aflao. Are you with me? Keep changing direction. And that is what the question the people ask all the time. Oh, doctor, why is it that countries like Malaysia, Singapore, they started the same time and they have reached this level, and we're still, I said, but are you traveling in one direction? You're not traveling in one direction. You keep changing. They're going in one direction. Are you with me?
Direction will be so I will not offer where in foot pine. And the other I can't break it down.
No, I don't know.
But no.
Yes.
Are you eyeing 2024?
In terms of what?
The independent candidates that you want to file.
Oh, yes. Very much so. We have been preparing a long time for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we have identified the number. Of course, we are not going to broadcast where they are going to stand.
Okay.
Because we don't have bullets so, to be spraying. So we have to be strategic.
Okay.
I've talked to about 4 or 5 people already. They're very serious. Some of them, already have contested before.
Okay.
One has even won a seat before.
Okay.
And they are thinking of going back to it as independents. Because the way things are now, they themselves came to me. Are you with me?
Okay.
Now, some we have to go into those places and talk to the leaders.
Okay.
For them to give us a person.
Okay.
Because you see, there's one thing which has been happening in Ghana, which is part of the constitutional change we want to talk about. The chiefs are always saying that, oh, you see, you people, you sacked us from government, we're not supposed to be part of, politics, and that's then how do we participate? Well, we're saying that in a new system where we have a community-oriented industrialization program, at different levels, different kinds of people will play a role in it, in the administration of it. This is one of the measures that we would want to institute. So the chiefs will have a role in it. But hand go, hand come. If you want to change the system to have that role, and then go and get us a parliamentary candidate that you will support.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
Bring him. You, the chiefs, bring us 3.
Okay.
You, the trade unions, bring us 4. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're workers, we have been saying, and then people are not listening to us. Fine. You have a vote, you have constituency. Organize yourselves. If today your health workers, you know that, we all of us will live around Kolebu.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
Organize yourselves. Bring us an independent candidate from Kolebu. If all of you are going to vote for him, he already has a start.
Yeah.
Are you with me? Some people can transfer their votes there.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of strategies that people can employ to ensure that they make their vote count. That one vote that you have is precious. Make it count. And more to the point, let us all go and invigilate at the polling station. Are you with me?
Yeah.
There's no big man or small man in this matter. Let's all sit there and make sure the vote is counted.
It's counted.
And that it is properly collated. That way, people will feel that I'm not voting for nothing. You see, this frustration where people feel, I've voted, I'm tired, nothing ever changes. It's a dangerous feeling. Because what it is announcing...
But it's like we are getting closer.
Oh, you're doing what that look, a lot of the people I talk to
and the most annoying part is one cry makotwa back chemical said the kind of quality. Some people are just losing their life. You're both talking for and nothing is happening. So me busu ni akọ through sa adena me police station worker say me kotwa back.
Yes. So it is very important that people work together this time to make their vote count. If we are not attempting to take over government, but let people know that your presence is felt.
It's felt.
And that you have taken a stand. And if there are 10, 15 people, you take that stand, it will build up. When a stone starts rolling down from a mountain, as it is going, the slope is building. By the time it gets there, it's a big ball. And that's how they all start. There are no changes anywhere in these countries where the change just happened one day overnight. It built up some time before it came. And what is true is that when there's frustration and there's no avenue for change, trouble always comes. But when there's a lot of frustration and there's an avenue, innovation, and people get excited about it, then that change which comes, it comes through legitimate means. And it improves the system because it hasn't damaged the system. It has come to improve the system add to it and make it go better.
Okay.
And we all in Ghana now must start thinking of our democracy this way. Instead of thinking of just A or B, start thinking about it as how can we make it change? How can we begin somewhere? Because right now, most of the people I talk to, they're not interested in going to vote.
Yeah.
You see, but if you don't vote, somebody will vote for you.
Exactly.
Are you with me? And then how do you change? And then some people will sit down and tell you that they are not even interested in politics anymore. I said, oh, but that one, it's like sitting in a boat. There are two teams paddling. Anyhow they like. The boat is going round and round. The crocodiles and hippos are jumping up and down, waiting for you to fall in. And you're telling me that you're not concerned. You should be concerned.
You should remove them and paddle the boat yourself.
As long as we are all in the same boat, everybody should be concerned.
Yeah.
So this is what we need, the message that we want you to take to the people. Everybody should be concerned, and you can do something. Your one vote can count. Identify the people that will really stand for you. Because that is all that people are crying for now. If you hear them talking about this man, that man, they only want somebody who will stand for them. They only want somebody who will stand for them. Whether it is successful, it's not successful, they know that this man will stand for us. This is the kind of parliament we want to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, person may be a question. Question yeah, may be saying. But yes, I'll ask. What all regrets is say who rap politics more to even presidential candidates.
Oh, Debbie, I know that if, you know, first, no, I wasn't even intending to be involved in politics. I was sitting here doing myself something, and a friend of mine came who was contesting, came and pulled me inside to support him. You know? So I just went there to support and help them build an alternative. Because a lot of us who had worked abroad, who were here, we all felt that, look, this is the level where the democracy has come to, and they are counterbalancing each other. If we want to move it to the next level, we have to find another vehicle and use that vehicle to go to the next level. Then it will create a new level and they will come and join. So that was the idea. So we chose one particular group to help.
Okay.
But in that process, the whole strategy was seize the bull by the neck and then you control the rest of the body. But this bull is not so easy to seize by the neck. And also, in that process, I had also decided to contest for parliament. I'd actually signed and filled my forms.
Oh, okay. Which constituency?
Damango.
Okay.
And the people were very excited. You know, they all took me to the palace and said, oh, this year we're not contesting, you know, parliamentary, we're only contesting presidential. But a number of things happened, and then I had to be called back to Accra and literally requested to pursue the presidential because people had moved away for whatever reasons that were in the party at the time.
Okay.
So I filled in that void to try and use that as an opportunity to keep on building the party.
Okay.
But if I had gone to parliament at that time, my path would have been very different. But not having gone to parliament and also contested the presidential, it made me understand the system very well.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
I saw it.
Positive or negative?
Oh no, both the positive and the negative aspects of it.
Okay.
I traveled all over the country, so I was able to actually learn, the real situation. The bad roads. You see, there are bad roads everywhere. You see, when you travel over the country, what you see that strikes you is neglect.
Okay.
You see, the neglect of people who are not asking for very much. They only need a little bit to make their lives better. But that neglect, be it roads, hospitals, schools, or whatever it is reflected in the disproportional amount we spend on ourselves here in Accra and Kumasi, as opposed to what we give them. So much that the decentralization, instead of sending it direct to them, we pass it through the ministries. By the time it reaches there, are you with me?
Oh.
So this kind of system where somehow we, the elite group here in Accra, have developed this mentality that until we are comfortable, before we can address those other issues.
And you're comfortable, so that.
And because then they're running here, so you will never reach the mark.
Yeah.
So we have to have a very different approach. And that became very clear to me in my head that this approach is not going to work. Also, when you look at the amount of money required to contest a presidential campaign, especially in a country where the support is not coming from ordinary people, it's coming from vested interests, then you see that this is a match of David and Goliath. Except that David's stones, they only crack when they hit Goliath. They are even tickling him. So we have to find another way, and I always tell my colleagues, look, even the walls of Jericho, they had to walk around and around before the walls fell. And you don't have a horn. So let's start digging a hole under the wall. When we get inside, we open the gates.
Open the gates.
So let's get into Parliament first and open the gates for other people to come in and change the system. That is the way, before we can scale the walls of Jubilee House, so, I mean, you should ask people, those people who said, okay, I'm contesting presidential, how many of them are there? Ask them, you've been contesting presidential all this time, what have your votes been? Which direction are they going? So why are you contesting again? Do you have a parliamentary seat? If you don't have a parliamentary seat, why are you contesting presidential? Maybe there's a secret, we don't know.
Now welcome me say sa party get na mani abro mo pa Jubilee House akọ parliamentary crowd ni bi also president yedi. I get a point though. Ya to aba over the years. Ye nyina ye hu se ne aya na aye. Baby Agana ye keka koi. I want you to tackle the agri sector because when you say we are experts when it comes to agri, what is our problem? Because Ghana ha we dey up cement we fear nim na take it way bi ntaho no na to abroto obetwa ho abeba na afifi but in this case ye kra bro ye kra banche ye kra bode ye kra jene na anu ani je fo ye so o mo kun ko he jene boy ayede tomatoes Burkina for Kunti, Burkina so yentimi nkrantos. What is our problem? But we pump so much money. You can't budget a Greek ministry budget is said Pastor.
We have a major problem in our approach to agriculture.
Okay.
It's the approach. We've taken the agriculture as principally a small-scale agriculture. We've forgotten that it can evolve to a medium and larger scale agriculture. So we're just dealing with it only as small-scale agriculture. And in dealing with it as small-scale agriculture, we have not fully accepted that agriculture is a business. It's not a pastime. You with me? Oh, just because my father was also farming, let me also
do some small farming.
The question is, what did that farming do for his life? Was he able to change his life, his living standards significantly with that farming, or was he just surviving? If he was just surviving, then you're also taking the option to just go and survive. And then you will see no change. So we have to take a different approach, which ensures that, number one, if you're involved in agriculture and you have not made any technical mistakes, you should not lose.
If you have not made
any technical mistakes, you should not lose. Okay. In other words, we have to have your back. Because the food that you are going to grow, it will be enough for your house and some will be left for other people. That food which is left for other people, its presence in the system is a public good. It's like the road that we use our money to make.
Yeah.
Just because you have a car, it's not that you go and make your own road. We make the road for all of us to pass. So we have to have a system of agriculture that ensures that there's enough food for everybody to eat and buy. Are you with me? And it's a public good. Once you take that attitude to it, then you make sure that you cover the back of the producer.
Okay.
To ensure that you reach that objective. And that brings him to the point of a market. Because when we say cover the back of the producer, what we're talking about is that if I overproduce and I take it to the market, I shouldn't lose.
Yeah, who will buy them?
If I produce and somehow, out no fault of my own, and there's a catastrophe, I shouldn't lose. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Once you put farmers in that condition, you'll see what they will do. But here we are, our farmers, small as they are, they're like orphans. Are you with me? And that's why you see so many people go into farming and then they get out of it. If you want a clear example, just ask yourself, of the rich people in Ghana, how many have taken their money to go and put into farming? They won't put it there until it is guaranteed that there's going to be some cumulative progress in that investment. You see? So we are approaching agriculture as if it is just a production issue. It's just a technical issue. It is not only a technical, it's a business issue. And then there's an aspect of it which is public good. I got some support to put an irrigation scheme. That irrigation scheme, I got to center pivot and some small assistance. The road that to the river, I made it. The canal to bury the pipes, I made it. All the 5 trucks of pipes from Interplast, I bought them. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And even just the machine to seal the pipes together, it will take half an hour to seal the pipes together. It's 6,000 Ghana cedis a day. And you rent it for 4.5 kilometers worth of pipes.
Wow.
So that kind of investment, it's not an individual to make
exactly,
that. That is a public. It's like me building a road only for my car. Are you with me? So those are, in some countries, all that investment, many countries, you take your bill, this is what it costs me, you give it to the government, they give you your money. I take that money, then I start my production. And when I start my production, I'm guaranteed that a certain volume of it will sell at a certain price. And I can maintain my standard of living. If I want it to improve, I increase the production to improve it. If we don't have such a system, and you say that, every man for himself, God for us all.
For us all.
Then you end up importing. And that is what has been happening. So we have to sit down and think about our agriculture in a different way to start off with. The second part of it is that agriculture is a very unusual sector. If it is water, you will touch. Land, you will touch. Human beings, if they're not healthy, they cannot work on the farm, you will touch. The roads, it will touch it. Trade, it will touch it. Cost of money, it will touch it. So many sectors interface with are connected with agriculture. And if you don't harmonize all of them to be working to support agriculture, they'll be working to drain agriculture.
Wow.
Yeah. If they are not all working to support agriculture, they are working to drain agriculture. So the people who are in agriculture will be the ones losing. And that is why sometimes you see somebody is gone into farming, is done very well, then all of a sudden say, hey, what happened? This man has backed out. Yeah. Because he has suffered some losses which they cannot be corrected. And he does not have the support to do it. Now, the last thing I want to say is that there has to be support between finance, trade, and industry with agriculture. If those are not connected at the base of the economy, for you to build the rest of the economy on it, it will not get far. So you literally have to have a checklist of things which the agriculture minister must get from everybody. Are you with me?
Yeah.
To support him to move ahead. It's not a matter of having projects. Oh, and then this one planting for food and jobs. Or Chinar MPIP.
That's why I launch phase 2.
Oh, better launch it there. You know? But there are too many single interventions that are not, concerted and supported at the base of the economy. They're just an intervention to have the impact which cannot be sustained and it will go down. So if we have the leadership that recognizes this problem and supports the technocrats to put together and change the system so that we get the kind of support we need, both from the financial side, the infrastructure side, etc., then you begin to see the progress. And it will be a cumulative progress because you have to plan it.
Yeah.
Our small-scale farmers cannot stay small-scale farmers forever and ever. We have to have a plan. What percentage of them have been moved to middle-income farmers, middle-scale farmers over time? Are they much more better, efficient? And then out of those, how many have been moved to larger-scale commercial farmers? But if you don't do that and you start getting people from outside occupying your larger commercial-scale farm space, they're coming here to use your land and water, take the produce out for their markets, and then you will be left with still a hole to fill. I hear some people are now growing rice to export the rice back to China or India. So we have to be very careful how we manage, because this resource of land, that is the last thing that you want to lose.
Yeah.
And now all over the world, Africa is the only place where you have spare arable land with a lot of water and God-given sunlight. If that one, you take it away and give it away, it's worse. As for gold, I don't mind giving gold away. But the land, giving the land away, that is something that we need to be very careful of in terms of the partnerships that we make. Because you see, the question they will ask is, why are those people able to come here and they're successful?
Exactly.
It's because the
easy for them to even acquire land.
Exactly. The man is coming here with 3%, 4% interest rate.
Yeah.
The money he's borrowed.
Yeah.
Part of the money is given him from his country in form of equipment, because the equipment is produced here, so he's bringing it. When he lands here and is able to get access to the land, he's only using the human beings, the water, and the sunlight. Then he targets a crop which he can send back to his country and get dollars. So he can afford to change those dollars and pay the people, and he can afford to buy new equipment. But we are here producing maize, and, etc. And before you convert the CDs to even pay for that tractor, it's another matter. Are you with me? So it is a business that people have to sit down with, and you use pencil and paper to calculate where you will end. It's not a matter of just, pronouncing projects and doing, because we've been doing this for a long time. But where have we reached? What is the percentage of our farmers who have moved from small scale to medium scale? Even our national best farmers who have won the award, have you gone to see them today? I was with one just when I went to Otumfo's thing. One of them was there. He said, me, I was last year's farmer. If you come to my place now. Are you with me?
Yeah.
He said, because the attention moves from you. The minute you are crowned, what we should have been doing is say, okay,
let's
now,
support this
all
person.
these years we've had these best national farmers. These are our best farmers. We're going to move them to this level. Are you with me? Focus on them. Not that the project comes, then we say, hey, so this election time has come. Let's sprinkle this project all over the place, you know.
Pizza farmers. Yeah, just
see, so we have to get out of that habit.
Okay.
Yeah, we cannot just be sprinkling. It sounds good. The donors also like that because they will tell you, oh, we are poorest of the poor, blah, blah. But it's your system. You have to improve the system. Are you with me?
Yeah.
If small-scale farmers was boosting their agriculture so much, how many small-scale farmers do they have? Are you with me?
Yeah.
And what is their policy towards their farmers? You see, if it's good to support their farmers, why isn't it good for you to support your farmers? Because food is the first weapon.
Yeah.
If you have a deficit of food, you should be worried. Now India says it is not exporting rice here anymore, which means that even we are not so bad. We are only 50%. But Togo, I think, is about 70%. And Benin is 90%. Are you with me? Now, if that rice doesn't come, can you suddenly produce 90% of the rice from anywhere? Those things are done gradually over time. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So what it means is that they're going to be knocking on our door here in the north, taking the produce out. You see?
Wow. Yes, when you say.
Anyway.
We enjoy conversation. No dog and sunny a day and come on the baby and me pesa what they Ghana for a D and come one more we interested to say national interest movements almost subscribe to reforms and then participate in 2024 independent parliamentary seats. No, me pesa no e kasa na like vision a woman is no. They should understand it properly.
Okay, so I think first thing say this 2024 say want to abano mao
vote for yourself.
Yes, vote for yourself and pick a candidate who will stand for you. Just try it once. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Just try it once. You've done the other one. Are you with me? So try this one once. Vote for an independent candidate that subscribes to the reform and restoration agenda. And you say independent, baby, I Marco contest team and and since say I'm declare who say independent, maybe yes, I independent.
For me, I see it in independent. Now you're doing business with them in the house.
You see, independent in your mind.
Yeah.
Say, I've looked at the system and I've seen that this is an independent way of improving the system, so I'm following it. So first, go to our website, nim.org, nim.org, www.nim.org. We also have a WhatsApp platform there you can join. We have WhatsApp platforms all over, so you can discuss with people, etc.
And the website, so when you access to the WhatsApp platform. Okay.
A number of which on your WhatsApp platform.
Okay.
So that you can documents the People's Charter, the 7-point agenda, our plan for the campaign. The only thing we haven't put there are the seats we've identified. So in this election, we want you to vote for yourself. On top of that, we want you to support those candidates. And when we say support, not only to vote for them, but to also actively participate in their operations on the ground and to reverse the flow. Instead of them giving you money, you give them money. Those people who have no work or have very little work to do, we're asking you, give them only 10 CDs each. Send it to the platform. Those people who have work to do, etc., give them only 20 CDs each. And those of you who have small businesses, etc., give them 50 CDs each. And finally, those of you who are in corporate businesses, etc., give them 100 cedis each. We have at least 20 million voters in Ghana now. If we say that we are counting on only 5 million of you, and 1 million of you give 10 Ghana cedis each, that is 10 million cedis. If 2 million of you give 20 million each, that is 40 million Ghana cedis. We have got 50. If another 1 million give 50 Ghana each, we have another 50 million cedis. Now we have 150. And the 1 million of you give, you bring 100 million. That's 200 million Ghana cedis. Without going to get this money from one person who will now want to take all the contracts from us. So this is the way that we can change. And it does not require you to give more than 10 Ghana cedis or maximum of 100 Ghana cedis. Only 5 million people. So go to the website, nameghana.org, find the Momo number, and contribute the change that you want to see. Let's put our money where our mouths are. Let's see that change come. And if you pay that money to them, definitely you will vote for them. And 5 million votes in this country, you can even win an election with that 5 million votes. So this is the challenge. So let's stop complaining as if we are helpless. The matter is in your hands, and we can bring the change that we want to see. So this is my appeal to you, my fellow Ghanaians, that the time is now.
Dr. Abu Sakara Edono, or your founder and leader at the National Interest Movements, and a way and a dim como, Onua Pae Mu Ka Jumedie eso. What we fear would see a yen, na share ye with TV no so. Would see a yen or radio no so. Facebook for no, I love you all. Yamisha Mupa, ne data boarding. Nti so be better data no we gina so 1.5 hours e dia show no enye easy kra nti madaroma ye beda mo ase papa mu nyina ma yade na ya ka kyerem se Pae Mu Ka Jumedie ewo Onua 95.1 FM and afen so Onua TV so no ye joda ekosi fie da bia ene de ebrel maka cho se wo se ma she kaftan bia ewo Pae Mu Ka so a Express Stella Ghana on ya opam de mame ne number obetimi afre no wo so 0242 201301 0242 201301 Kaftana mashe nyina de meshe bi obi ase ya we isu efewo chese Express Stella Ghana ne sa no bopa ne Facebook handle Express Stella Ghana, Instagram Express Stella Ghana 1 o hwehwe no ho no ma won sabeka no o wan kan ha no ma obehu no ewo asale botwe oben St Peter School ho no ma na afen so kumasefo mo behu Express Stella Ghana ewo ahojo tamalefo mo wo etifidu mantem nyina no mo behu Express Stella Ghana ewo Kumbugu Road na mesra mo nkon mo dwidwa mo style sakese wo de onya kwa wo se Iron Lady sememra no ama discount me onya bo me dia short code wo no ya ma discount na se ye twambe se miensa no watua na se won so watimi akodanda ho kama pa ma won se me promo na ebo no kaftan na efe pa Express Stella Ghana me da na se pa se da bia metena si bia no o ma me atade e wo Pae Mu Ka Jumedie eso Presam Client Ventures and afen so ba herbal center ba womo so ena ye me sponsors a womo eboa me wa wo fi a wo ye business so wan fa ma Pae Mu Ka so a na say you are losing out because you say awia ne de wa woni me say numbers no are speaking for itself what I say we are taking over you are taking over cry we the dada nti me show for business ne bla ne ame nje akodwa na me mohu daru fa emma meda Dr. Abu Sakara so asese awie yi oje akodwa na ne yendi nkomo ye da ase
me so me da OCP
and ye nim say nyame ya adoma advocacy no will sound go deeper Magana for yenya adwemfoforo bi a ye betimi dia sesa ye powerful kakra ye try we so hwe ne ye say nyame ya adoma ebeboa yen ya wa wo fi a wo hye me nyame hira me producer Cyril Dogbe nyame hira obia nyame ya adoma mese ne we hye bi Pae Mu Ka Jumedie so Iron Lady me di Don Richie and the enko Facebook live no so makra
Onua TV, you're gonna Onua Pae. Onua TV.
Onua TV, you're gonna Onua Pae.
Ghana,